seen it like that.
Yeah, no, we go very back.
Well, and the blue is really impressive, yes. Hello, hello.
Καλώς ορίσατε. Καλώς ορίσατε.
Oh, how nice to meet you.
Καλώς ορίσατε. Περάστε.
I guess some of us might be trying quietly to start a conversation with God, or at least say hello. Maybe you can find her in an early cutout of the Peloponnese before she puts on her pretty dress, or see her blush naked, or see her blush a naked good morning, contrails on her cheeks, tears for the shortness of what we carelessly thought was forever. Or in the sea stretching as she wakes beneath a still sharp silver sickle, and a pink feather trailing south tickles a reluctant sky awake. Or hear her as the sun comes up cold turkey out of Crete, making reckless promises you can't afford to keep. The last Thursday afternoon, maybe she'll have more to say, so I'll just hang around watching the sun get caught on tiled roofs, white walls and pale blue pergolas. The wind is leaving us again. I don't think she'll ever make up her mind. There was a pool today where a goddess swam naked at the bottom of a waterfall. We just missed her, but you could tell she'd been there all right. The water clearly remembered her, and the trees were still trembling. There was a damp patch on the bank where she dried herself, but the shops in town were shut.
He noticed the blue and white parasol before he noticed her. Blue and white with the colours of the Mediterranean. Sandals in her hand, she picked her way along the small pebbles at the water's edge. She bent and picked up a pebble with rings of white and grey, worn smooth by time and water, and threw it into the sea as though to send it back from whence it had come. She walked with care on the unevenness of the smooth pebbles as they shuffled and changed beneath her feet.
Suddenly inspired, she gave him the gift of the possibility. Okay, she said lightly, we will have to meet in secret. We'll keep this friendship from the world in case it is misunderstood for the sake of my reputation. His drinking grew increasingly alarming, but he had no intention of stopping. The doctor says the whiskey will kill me, he would say, but I've been at it for 65 years and it's very slow. I think if it hasn't done its job by 90, I'll quit it.
Finding Kefi by Natalie Clue. I was determined to make this work. No matter how much my friends and family attempted to talk me out of leaving, I knew I had to go. My new life would fall into place. It had to. I loved the town I grew up in, but it was home to too many disturbing memories and unwelcome emotions. As I wheeled my suitcase to the check-in counter, I suddenly felt a weight lift from my shoulders. Finally, I was free.
Cadence. I woke up with murder on my mind. Are you trying to kill me? I was lying there asleep when you lunged at me, a huge shadow. I leapt sideways to avoid your bulk. When I got back into bed, I couldn't stop laughing. I didn't want to go back to sleep in case you tried to kill me again, but I was laughing and tired, so I took one of those white pills with a squiggle on one side and just passivity on the other. I took it squiggle side up so it would work properly. Squiggle, squiggle. Don't just giggle. Squiggle. How many should I take? Thinking of ways to kill you. I could cast a spell on your dog so it would eat you. Or have you make love to me again, then eat you. Spiders do that.
In his dream, it's always warm, but his family are wearing heavy clothes. His father, in a Homburg hat and a long black coat, leads them into the still water. They descend into deep chasms, and over drowned ridges, walking in a straight line as they move surreally under the Ionian Sea. They then emerge silently, still in one line, on the beach of the Peloponnesian side. The water washing away their human colour, so that they have become grey, trance-like figures, no longer people.
"Come," he said, and she followed him inside. For the next hour they made ridiculous conversation over beer, Perrier and tapas. They scoffed at their crumpled images in gleaming mirrors framed by polished brass. They giggled at the sight of his dust-encrusted socks and sandals and her worn scarfers sullying the expanse of black and white floor tiles that spoke of wealth, but not too loudly. The mood was broken when Dominique received a text message.
A child walks as heaven encamps. A mother and daughter watch. Bird of evil, bird of night. The child points to the sky. His last good night. These were my final words I wrote. I folded the piece of paper and placed it back into my pocket. I ran my hands along the tall shrubbery as I walked, slowly. Ticking of hand drew no concern from I, soon to be no more. Sounds of death left residue.
Some children are laughing and playing, their lively chatter filling the air. A door bangs, a dog barks, just to let everyone know he heard the door. A tourist sits on a balcony watching the mist rise off the water, which today has many shades of blue. The water is very clear with blue-black shadows showing rocks in the shallows. A lazy seagull does a slow cruise along the beachfront while the washing flutters on the line. There's a little boy in a bright green t-shirt building a very serious castle in the wet sand.
Well, what can I say but thank you? I've never been called a genius before, so I'm really thrilled.
Well, we call you a genius all the time.
Yes, but you're not around all the time. Well, you've been wonderful, wonderful